You like the eight-legged freaks? You like the web spinners? Stick around. I got a lot of friendly neighborhood spiders, man. Hi, folks. Old Man Grognard here. Got another review for you. This time it's a module, and it is pretty versatile. So let's just use it as the buzzword and talk about Fosc Anansi, Shadow of the Spider Goddess. Not the easiest thing to pronounce, but it's by Lloyd Metcalf. It was released in 2017. And it's about 52 pages. And this is what it looks like. Now, this is by Fail Squad Games. Now, there's two things unique about this at this time, because, for one, this is their first hardback adventure, and secondly, this is dual statted for either 1E/OSRIC or 5E. So you can go either way. It's a good book, and it's a good module. It features spiders. Spiders, spiders, and more spiders. That's practically everything you got are spiders of different sorts and spider friends. Basically, the story is this town all of a sudden starts getting attacked by these gargantuan spiders of different sizes. And the blacksmith gets kidnapped along with other people who killed. I mean, the spiders went in, you know, trashed part of the town, put a bunch of webs up, killed some people, grabbed the blacksmith, and took off. And you got to figure out what the heck's going on. Well, what the heck's going on, you players, now don't you listen, is got a bunch of dark gnomes, what they call dark gnomes. They're not quite as bad as deep gnomes, but what they are is more avaricious and entrepreneurial. I think of them as the Ferengi of the gnomes. And they have a way, they found a sphere of annihilation, managed to cram it between dimensions and give the spiders a taste of that chaos, which grew them to large size for silk to make armor for. Spider silk armor, which is really hard, and their investors and people who are interested in this, the drow, would like some of that spider silk armor. And so the gnomes set up shop trying to make it. Well, now the spider goddess wasn't too happy, but she really didn't notice it or anything. But there was a what they call the shadow of the spider goddess, which is the aforementioned Fosc Anansi. Got really offended by it. He's basically her demigod or godling or whatever. So he decided to do something about it. And I'm not going to go into any more. I'm not going to spoil the rest of it. So probably spoiled half already. It's a really tightly done module that you could probably get through in maybe 1 to 2 sessions. It is for 4 to 6 level characters, and you probably need them because there are a lot of spiders and spider traps and things like that, because you got to go investigate what's going on. Here's part of what the book looks like. It's a 2-page layout, real clear font, nice tight writing. Yes, it has text boxes for the players. Not much you can do about that. That's the picture, that's a map of the town. Of course, the maps are going to be great. And the art was in the book was by Lloyd himself, plus Mark Radel, Jacob Blackman, Jacob Blackman, and Jeremy Moeller. I got some of those names right anyway. Like I said, it's dual statted for 1 and 5E. And it's a pretty well done module. I mean, this is going to keep your players on their toes, because there's some pretty interesting traps in here, and there's also a bit of there's the gnomes fool around with steampunk, steam technology, steam and clockwork technology. So they talk about if you don't want that in your game. He suggests the setting, which Fail Squad also puts out, which is it's basically a demo plane. I call it Ravenloft Light. It's if you got any kind of weird idea for a land or something like that you don't want in your regular world, make it a part of the lands of lunacy, a demi plane floating around in that dimension. So you can do that if you don't want the steampunk in there or anything like that into your regular campaign. They can go in there in another dimension, you know. And he doesn't even name the town because he says, you know, put it where you want, figure out how you want to do it. Here's a map of a part of where they're going, the first level. There, if you notice, the entrance here is covered with webs. Gee, why? Well, you figure out during the adventure. And if you notice down here on the left, they have stats for 5e, and then below they have stats for 1e. And they do that throughout the book. It's just very well thought out and very well done. And there's some great pictures of it. Oh, look at that beauty. Isn't that a beauty? That's one of the handouts you give the players. That's during the climax when the stuff's starting to hit the fan, you know. And also they have a few new monsters. That's a skitter shade right there, which is basically spider minions. They have their own little powers, and of course, again, statted. This is the 1e stat. They have a separate section for 1e. In the back of the book, the appendixes, they give you the 1e, or the 5e stats first of the characters. Then the next appendix is the 1e stats for the characters. And also they give you a filled out character sheet for the blacksmith, and also a blank for 5e and 1e. So you pretty much got a complete module here ready to go. All you have to do is read it, you know, do a few notes and go. And it's very expandable too, because you've got a town here. You've got a town here you can use as a base or however you want to do it. You have at least one NPC, this one dark gnome, who escaped the wrath of the god, and basically, if you let him get out, you can use him as you can either use him as something. Both him and the blacksmith, when you get her at the encounter, you can use them as NPCs, or you can use them as somebody lost a character. And if you want to let the gnome go, I mean, you know, the blacksmith, hopefully you'll rescue her and she'll be back at her shop and blah, blah, blah. But like the gnome, you could just let her roam around as an NPC because he's very handy, and, you know, all he wants to do is go around and see stuff. See, deep gnomes are neutral. They're pretty much neutral on everything. They'll work for a big bad as well as for a priest or a good guy. So it's one of those characters where you can float around that are kind of like a wild card, you know what I'm saying? And where can you find this? Okay, you don't find this on DriveThruRPG or RPG now, at least now. You're going to find the hardcover on Amazon for $19.30. If you just want the PDF, you go to the Fail Squad Games website and they'll sell it to you for $6. I'll put everything you know where. So that is Fosc Anansi, Shadow of the Spider Goddess by Fail Squad Games, Lloyd Metcalf. And if you see this, if you get this, if you use it, if you just tell me about it at oldmangrognard@gmail.com. I'm about due for another After Dark show, so I can do some more. You know, I can reply. But I would like to know about that. oldmangrognard@gmail.com. So that's Fosc Anansi. We'll have more later. And until next time, bye-bye.